Hello. For this video, I've just compiled all the old species videos with new audio, art, and extra details. Hope you enjoy. Manus logs, elves. Standing at a looming 7 foot tall, this isn't the only thing that makes elves stand out, as they sport a variety of vibrant skin colors, ranging from a calico koi palette to shades of ocean blue. A few more features that differentiate elves from humans: their ability to drink seawater, and the distinct pointed ears. They seem to be pretty stiff and point backwards. They seem to be like this to add more surface area along with their horns. This works to help with their ability to breathe water through their skin. This isn't the elves' only adaptation to semi-aquatic life. Some of the more apparent ones would be the fin-like structures on their hands and calves. The hand fins are made from an extended pinky finger and the webbing between them, while the calf fins are held up by cartilage. All this helps them swim, and has caused their settlements to be built around bodies of water, man-made or otherwise. Houses and other buildings are raised upon stilts to keep dry. Due to this, most elves are concentrated around the coast and islands, and only expand inland with the construction of canals. This tends to cause conflict with whoever or whatever was there prior. This will usually cause the start of an extermination campaign, which entails the mass killing of anything deemed hostile or problematic. This works to clear the land for expansion, and serves the secondary purpose of feeding the hunger and curiosity of the elves sent to settle this new location. This ties into one of the more unsettling features of the elves, this being their jaws that unhinge to a disturbing degree. This puts their tusk-like venomous canine teeth on full display, along with their forked tongues, a truly unnerving sight up close. This seems to be connected to their hypervorism, possessing an unusually high metabolism. Elves need to eat way more than something their size usually would, which can lead to mass overfishing in some areas, causing more conflict in the regions they inhabit. But on the upside, they do make really good food. One of the many upsides of my research trip. It was a truly nice time getting to know them. In terms of the thought process and influence, I decided to go with an aquatic theme, mostly by process of elimination, since all the other races fit another element better than elves. I ended up tying it back to the elves' long lifespans, since I was watching Frieren at the time, looking at the longest living mammal being the bowhead whale, which pushed me towards a sort of cetaceans or marine mammal look. So I used things like seals and dolphins and orcas as references. I also took some inspiration from the hand flappers in All Tomorrows and the Zora seen in Zelda, but the one thing you had to keep consistent was the sharp ears, or Ott just wouldn't be an elf anymore. Overall, I'm happy with how these guys turned out. Giants, standing at an enormous 15 foot on average, with a lot of this being from their trunk-like legs. Giants sport tough elephant-like skin, ranging from shades of sky blue to sunset orange dot, with equally vibrant eyes that come in almost any color on the spectrum, in an almost electric shade. All of this is contrasted by the coily grayscale hair, resembling that of cloudstop. This, in conjunction with their ethereal fashion, conveys a godlike presence to the few individuals lucky enough to witness a wandering giant on their travels. Entranced by the songs of these colossal nomads as they parade in solitude, mountain to mountain. The few breaks the giants take on their travels occur on the peaks of hills and mountains, where they'll perform their songs, which have been observed to have an arcane effect on the local weather. They tend to build small shelters to use when they return or another giant visits. But due to the size of a giant, these small shelters are about 2 to 3 stories by human standards. Due to this, humans have taken to setting up small mountain villages surrounding these buildings. These residents will maintain the central structure, and in return, the current giant will usually put on a show and bend the weather to the benefit of the village. This symbiosis has led to the veneration of giants as a sort of folklorist. The giants are a kind of god figure. With all of this in mind, the enigmatic nature of the giants come into question. How could something so eye-catching travel without being spotted, with their existence even being doubted by many? I have recently discovered how they go unseen, and this correlates to their use of magic. They seem to be able to vibrate the air in a way that distorts light in conjunction with messing with the sensory perception of anyone who can hear their songs. They have an illusory effect that covers up the presence. It seemed that sound holds a great importance in the culture of giants, with giants crafting ornate instruments, wearing masks that sport bells, chimes and horns, and having a mostly orally recorded history. This has given them a love for telling stories, and will often exchange the stories of their travels to the residents of the places they stop at and the other giants they come across. And in areas closer to the giants' homeland, clusters of pillars can be found, and at the peaks of these pillars are a series of giants tasked with listening for messages with their extremely sensitive ears and conveying messages via a code pre-formed by Horn. Even if I was able to decipher this code, I would not be able to do it, as it is sent in a frequency that only giants are able to hear. So despite our research, there's still a lot to uncover. In terms of inspiration for these guys, I looked at a lot of statues and sculptures in different cultures, some being Dinka Sudanese, Incan, Aztec and Greek. I thought the whole Olympian vibe fit with the giants mostly living in mountains. I also based them on some other stuff like the colossal titan that I used as reference for the feet, that and elephants with the ears too. I think these guys came out pretty good in the end, and I find it fun designing clothes for these guys. Dwarfs. Standing at a fairly squat 4 to 5 feet tall, dwarfs are coated in layers of tough skin, sporting earthy tones with textures ranging from gritty stone to smooth, almost metallic, while being covered in sensitive white hairs all over that they use to feel their surroundings instead of the near useless eyes they have. This is due to many dwarves living in advanced subterranean settlements connected via a series of complex tunnels, with the ones above ground usually deciding to live a nocturnal lifestyle due to their underground origin, leading to the deterioration of their eyes, making them near useless. This is reflected in their fashion, with dwarfs almost always wearing some sort of eyes covering in the day, be it sunglasses or veils, to protect their sensitive eyes, which has led to the widespread belief that dwarfs lack eyes, but in the myth that all dwarfs have beards no matter what. This stems from the fact that dwarfs have multiple sets of whiskers, since instead of sight, they use their extremely developed sense of touch, assisted by the hair and whisker-like antenna to feel their surroundings, to the point being able to pinpoint the location of things via vibration in the surrounding ground and air. Though most would think being blind would inhibit the invention of advanced technology, it seems this has not stopped the dwarfs. In fact, quite the opposite, with dwarfs seemingly being able to sense the internal workings of most objects and can even determine the quality of metal at essentially a glance. This has led to dwarven crafts being greatly sought after due to their high quality, ornate decorations and impressive durability, with some rumours suggesting that some dwarfs have taken to science to learn how to use their senses. They've been able to learn how to use their senses. I've been taken to selling magic-infused armaments, though I haven't been able to get my hands on one. Though usually these dwarven crafts have to be custom-made, as despite their small stature, they're deceptively strong, with a complex muscular system making use of contraction and hydraulics, allowing them to lift well above their already high body weight, making manual labour easy, and allowing their weapons to be egregiously heavy by human standards. With the high demand for dwarven work, some are made to stay within their borders, works they've needed to become more secure and selective with who they let into their subterranean settlements. These decisions are made by an enigmatic figure that seemingly possesses the preternatural ability to detect lies and intent. If I had to guess, is say they're using their in-depth tactile sense to analyze any changes in body language or heart rate. That's just a guess though. Despite our research, there's still a lot to uncover. The main inspirations for these guys are mostly old West African sculptures, especially the Benin bronzes. This and a few other masks were the main influences for the dwarf's appearance, with some minor details inspired by star-nosed moles and a few other creatures. Overall glad with the final result. Gnomes. Standing at a max of 5 foot, gnomes have a very human appearance, which can make them easily mistakable for young humans, though they do possess some key features, such as long floppy ears and horizontal pupils. These traits are a product of their environment, as gnomes are most commonly found in vast, sprawling grasslands or steppes. Due to this, I believe their pupil shape allows them to see potential threats from a wider range. This is usually effective as there's little cover in these fields, and their long ears have evolved as a way of providing more surface area for sunlight. This may seem odd at first, but this ties into one of their most apparent features being the floral-esque growths across their skin. These growths appear as leaves in shape and colour, but upon closer inspection seem to be chlorophyll-dense skin, which allows gnomes to feed off of sunlight to a degree, though not entirely, which causes their fashion to allow for more. It seems that most of the floral features of the gnomes are fake. This isn't entirely true, as it seems that almost all gnomes possess a unique symbiotic connection to a plant unique to the individual. Upon questioning, it seems that these plants are bonded to a gnome shortly after birth, with these plants either having a practical use, be it defensive or medicinal, while others appear to be a status symbol as seen in the nobility and royals, donning selectively bred flowers that are kept away from the public in walled-in gardens. Most houses have some form of walled-in garden or greenhouse, with many houses having sections of glass roofs or skylight to allow for indoor sunbathing. All of this is wrapped up in a quaint cottage aesthetic. This quaint feeling is somewhat lost when you approach a city with the higher class experiencing a life of excess with streets lined in vibrant flowers and ornate glass roofwork. Though the strangest part of my visit was the olfactory experience with the settlement design, having an odd focus on smells and how they travel through the city, with perfume and incense being a huge market amongst gnomes, with some partaking in the use of psychoactive variants of these products. Some say these even have arcane effects, though in most cases these are just hallucinations and are also responsible for the perception of gnomes as whimsical or silly. Turns out they are just intoxicated heavily, but I have seen evidence of the ones producing these substances possessing advanced knowledge of the arcane, with some liking to test their concoctions on the unknowing masses, and some are even rumoured to partake in covered poisonings amongst the ruling class. Though interesting, it's also none of my business, and I don't really want to end up poisoned, so I think I'll just enjoy the flowers. When it comes to these guys' inspiration, I was kinda going for this whimsical woodland creature look, so I wised things deer, goats and rabbits as references for how they look. I also like to use a slight pagan aesthetic for some of their outfits. I like how they turned out in the end. Thanks for watching and for all the support for this project so far. See you next time.